Hi everyone, today I want to talk to you about running and the term runner and what I've heard many people say when it comes to being a runner. They don't think they're actually a runner. I've always found that pretty interesting. So I've always really enjoyed running. I know that many people don't enjoy running, or at least at first they don't enjoy it. I've had many people come into my program, and when they started the program they tell me they're not a runner, they don't like running, or they actually hate running. They even use the word hate when it comes to running. And then before you know it, after several months, maybe even after 6 to 12 months, I see them running and they're enjoying it. So something happens along the way from not liking it to liking it. So first of all, I wanted to talk to you just about the term runner and how many people don't feel worthy of the word. And this has always been a little confusing to me, because I see people running, I see them out there running, whatever pace it is they're running, and then when I have a conversation with them, they'll say, well, I'm not a runner. And I never really understood what that meant, because logically it didn't make sense to me. Like, okay, well, I see you running, but then you're saying you're not a runner, so it seems contradictory. So what I realized is that a lot of people have a very high standard for the word runner. Somehow the word implies that you have to be really fast, or you have to be running races, or you have to be always running and never walking, and that's not true at all. You can be a runner and run occasionally. You can be a runner and run at any speed. You could be a runner and run some of the time and walk some of the time. You could do intervals. Say you walk a minute, then jog a minute, walk a minute, jog a minute, or walk a minute, sprint a minute, or sprint 30 seconds. All of those count. You're still a runner if you're doing those things. There's no group of people that gets together and looks over an application and says, well, this they're not really a runner. They can't use that word. There's nothing out there like that. That's really just in people's minds, and it's just about not having the confidence to think that what you're doing is actually, you're doing really good at what you're doing. So for one thing, let's start out with some reasonable goals. Actually, a really great way to start is by doing interval training, where you're walking part of the time and running part of the time. There are a lot of training programs out there that have very specific plans of walking and running, until the point where you're going to be doing more running than walking. But even if you continuously walk, that's a great way. You don't have to change that. You can just continue to do that if it works for you. I have students that really enjoy doing it that way. They like walking and running. And if you like that and it works for you and it's getting you out there to do it, go for it. You don't have to meet anyone else's standards. If people are telling you you should be running the whole way, you don't need to listen to them. That's their opinion. You don't have to do that. You're out there, you're getting exercise, and actually some people can be faster if they sprint and then walk instead of just trying to run the whole time. It actually works really well for a lot of people. So that actually can be a really good strategy for you. When it comes to races, this is another thing where I see a lot of people that don't have the confidence, where they'll say, well, I want to sign up, but I won't be able to run, or they're afraid they're going to be the slowest or the last person. But usually in most races, there are a lot of people walking the entire time. And it's a surprise to a lot of the new people that go out there, because their assumption and their perception is that everybody out there is running and everyone out there is fast, and that it couldn't be further from the truth. There are so many races now where people are going out there, they're walking, they're doing their best job, they're enjoying the experience. And I recommend to a lot of people, if you have any kind of interest in it, go out there, do your best, train. If you walk the whole thing, that's great. If you can run part of it, that's great as well. I've had dozens and dozens of people that I've kind of twisted their arm, because I knew they could do it. I knew they could do it before they knew they could do it, and I knew they would enjoy the experience, and they really did, and it really brought up their confidence, especially when there's a big race and there's a lot of people cheering. You just feel so good at the end that it's really worth doing it and worth giving it a shot. So if you have any questions about running or any comments about this blog, just post below or send us an email at info@thebootcampgirl.com.